Hey guys, so this is a video to show you or to walk you through how you should write a summary when you're writing for literature. A lot of times you will be able to pull off part elements from if you've done a plot diagram graphic organizer for this, you can pull elements right off of that to complete this literature summary. And if you haven't, then you can just generate these ideas as you're going. But again, if you have a plot diagram for whatever you're writing about, use it. It'll be super useful. So just a quick overview, anything that's color coded, that's colored, anything besides black, you need to change it, okay? And then, so that's one part of our key, but then within that key, if something is not capitalized, like it's just written like normally, like the word title right here, that means you just literally plug in a piece of information like the title of your story or the author of your story. However, if something is color coded and in all caps, that means you need to go find that information. Okay, and it might be on your plot diagram or in some other graphic organizer that I have provided for you. It may not. So one way you can start a summary. First of all, of course, you indent when you're writing a paragraph. And one way you can start a summary is saying the text, whatever. So let's pretend we're doing this for 7th grade. Okay, the text 7th grade by Gary Soto is about learning to take risks. That's the theme, right? According to me, that's what I think. You could also say in the text 7th grade by Gary Soto, the theme is, right? There's a couple of ways you could write that topic sentence. This is one way. Then you have transitions, and I've given you one transition here. Remember that again, if it's black, leave it, okay? So in the beginning of, and you would write the title again, and it should be in quotation marks. Okay, always a title should be in quotation marks, and of a short story. Novels are italicized. So in the beginning of 7th grade, and then here it says exposition, and it's color coded this goldish color. So I come down here in the key and see that it says write one sentence to describe the exposition. If you are doing a plot line, using a plot line, the exposition is the bottom blue box that is labeled exposition. If you're not using that, just remember that the exposition is the beginning of your story where you learn a little bit about your characters, who your characters are, when this story is taking place. It's usually not that long, and that's why I'm saying write one sentence. If you write 2, that's fine. If you write 3, you're writing too much, okay? So then here's another transition. Then, and notice here I have 3 sentences worth of rising action and conflict, rising action and conflict, rising action and conflict. And the key down here says to write 1 to 2 to 3 sentences to describe the rising action and 1 to 2 sentences to describe the conflict and how it relates. So the reason I've given you 3 sentences is because you might write about the rising action and the conflict in one sentence, or several times. It's a combination. So basically, in this part, you are going to write 3 to 5 sentences total about the rising action and conflict, and they may be mixed together in the same sentences. They may not be. Either way is fine, and that's why I've kind of done it this way. Okay. Now, the next part, I gave you some potential transitions. So anytime I give you color-coded things that have a slash between them like this, that means that you need to pick one. Okay, so these are just 3 potential transitions. So you could say suddenly, you could say the turning point, you could say blank undergoes a huge change. So if we were writing about 7th grade, we'd say Victor undergoes a huge change. So pick one of those, okay? And again, it says it down here, potential transitions, potential transition, potential transitions. So pick one. And then you'd write about the climax. So suddenly, Victor flies off to the moon. That's not true, obviously. The turning point of the story is when Victor flies off to the moon. Victor undergoes a huge change when he flies off to the moon. Whatever your climax is. And remember, the climax is the blue rectangular box at the top, the apex of your plot diagram. It's the most exciting part. It's the turning point in that you're at this tippy point and something has to happen. You can't stay there, right? It's because of gravity. Got to go down. Okay. And again, this is saying you should write 1 to 3 sentences about the climax, and you should use the word climax. Okay. Then I gave you another set of potential transitions. So then, after that, or next, again, pick one. And then you're going to describe the following action, which is the blue box on the right-hand side at the top. And you might write 1 to 2 sentences about that. Again, maybe it could be 3, but if it's 4, you're writing too much. And then in the end, finally, eventually, another set of transitions, and then you'll write 1 sentence about your resolution. Remember that if your story does not have a resolution, if it is legitimately a cliffhanger, then you just need to say that. Don't just skip the sentence. Just say, in the end, there is no resolution, and because we don't find out what happens or whatever, and I would love to know what happens. Something like that. But address the fact that there's no resolution. Don't just skip it. Okie dokie. I hope this helps. Y'all, bye.